What's up, folks? This is Justin from Books, Bricks, and Boards. If you've been watching the channel for a while, you know that I love me some Savage Worlds.
I'm a fan.
Well, one of the things that was hard to understand when I was first getting into that system was how the different settings in the Savage Worlds lines played along with each other and what each had to offer that the others did not. So today, I'm going to try to make my learning process benefit you, and I'm going to talk about my top 5 Savage settings for the Savage Worlds SWADE edition. Without any further ado, let's get into it. Coming in at number 5, this is Lanar. And first up, some of the things that are holding this back. Number 1, this is technically designed for Deluxe Edition. It's not made for SWADE, and as they've lost the license, it's probably not going to get a reprint in an official SWADE edition. That being said, there is a SWADE conversion that's available on the website, and there's enough similarities between Deluxe and SWADE that you could almost play it with a just on-the-fly conversion without any problems anyways. But that being said, this is definitely still gameable material for you to use in your SWADE edition campaign. Another thing that holds it back a little bit, it's out of print. You're not going to find copies of this for too much longer. Once they're gone, they're gone. It's like land. They're not making any more of it, so it's never going to get cheaper, most likely, than it is right now. The other thing, it's been done many, many times. If you count all of the editions of the Lanar books being done as an RPG, you've got DCC, you've got 5e, you've got AD&D, you've got 2nd edition AD&D, and you've actually got a RuneQuest edition by Mongoose.
Whoa, this is heavy.
Now I'm going to get into the things that make this one of my top 5 choices. Obviously, it's iconic. Originally published in the late 1930s, Fritz Leiber and others continued to write new stories all the way into the late 80s. These stories, and the main protagonists of Fafhrd and the Grey Mouser, had a huge role in shaping fantasy tropes as we know them today. They are faithfully represented in this line. Within the books, you're going to have stat blocks for all of the classic enemies and adversaries of the Lanar books, allowing you to recreate or alter the course of events of those stories. Now, here's the last thing, and it's the most important one. You have fully statted profiles of Fafhrd and the Grey Mouser from different points in their career, allowing you to recreate the chance meetings with the twain or playing as them through a campaign of your own. You can have your adventures either aiding or working against the Thieves Guild. You can sail the seas. You can go try to do the bidding of the different major power centers of Lanar and Newan, and everything that you need to do that is right here in this line. And at number 4, I have Holler and Appalachian Apocalypse. Now, this is not going to be for everyone. Not everybody is going to enjoy an Appalachian feud culture as a game. Many players are going to take a hard pass before even considering giving this a chance. The product line is pretty limited, and it's likely to stay that way. This is amplified as a problem by the unique style, making sample ideas even more valuable. Also, the world of Holler is very confined, and while it is packed with stuff to do, it seems hard to justify escape from any major obstacle or enemy. It's like getting arrested in a small town. Everybody's going to know your business because the world is just so small. But here's why Holler's on my list. This is very different than anything that came before it, and it succeeds in making me want to play in a sandbox of Appalachian adventure. After reading this book, I rewatched the entire Hatfield and McCoy miniseries, eagerly searching for plot points to add to my own game. This makes hay as much with what it removes as with what it adds. The players are subservient to the big boys and always will be. They will always be outmanned, outgunned, and outmaneuvered. In this way, they're going to be forced to play with wits, guile, and a different definition of what success looks like. Lastly, the plot point Savage Tales campaign is a great introduction to how to play in the Holler. It weaves the Appalachian myth, culture, and gameable elements into a digestible arc that is easily implemented at your table. Number 3, I have Riffs. Starting with the negatives. The setting's a little more over the top than anything else out there. The premise is literally that portals, or rifts, from any dimension can pop up anywhere, and with that, beings from anywhere can show up in your game. So it can be a little hard to square away the idea of an anthropomorphic pig, a cloistered priest, and a mecha suit tech warrior traveling alongside a dragon, all in the same party, mind you. But that's Riffs. The setting has hundreds of books in the Palladium version, so if you want to be an expert on all of it, you have a lot of reading ahead. Probably best just to say, not in my version of Riffs sometimes, and move along. Also, while balance is never a focus of SWADE, nor do I think it should be, the complete power shift between Mars heroes and glitter boys or dragons makes it sometimes very hard to find a challenging encounter for both sides of those parties. Now for the good. Riffs is the best explanation for a kitchen sink campaign that I've seen yet. While it isn't Hamlet, it is still more plausible than any alternative explanations that I've seen written. Also, SWADE Riffs is mechanically far and away the best way to play Riffs. I love Palladium, I love Kevin Symbieta, but the best part of the Megaverse was its stories, not its system. This marries a great system, a flexible system, with an amazing concept to great effect. Lastly, if you want wild, unparalleled options for your players, this is your destination. Dragon PC? Check. Mecha Suit PC? Check. Drug-induced kamikaze psionic PC? Check. Dogman Bounty Hunter PC? Again, check. From Soldier to Psyker and Dragon to Dogboy, Riffs has characters that your players have never thought of, but they're going to want to try. At number 2, I have Deadlands. First the bad. The Western theme will be a hit or miss. I personally love the Western genre, especially the Weird West, but none of my players do. Also, the story is a little bit convoluted, bouncing from Civil War apocalypse to sci-fi and beyond. From King Arthur to wormholes, they all play a role in the canonical story. Third, the product line is still a little confusing, with Weird West, Reloaded, Classic, Hell on Earth, and Lost Colony.
Great Scott!
It does make one pine for a traditional numbered edition system. Now for the good. This was the inspiration for the Savage Worlds RPG, what with the Great Rail Wars miniature game. And as such, it makes the best thematic use of many of the SWADE player aids that make SWADE unique, such as the cards and the poker chips. Also, this provides everything that you would need to play a traditional Western as well as Weird West, even providing stats for several historical figures to populate your games. Finally, some of the most unique character options in Savage Worlds with innovative player options like magic gambler hucksters, the undead tortured Herod, and the steampunk mad scientist all come from the Deadlands universe. Players won't feel like this is just a reskin of another SWADE setting when they sit down to play Deadlands. And coming in at number 1, no surprise if you've been watching my channel, Savage Pathfinder. Yes, the same Savage Pathfinder that is replacing Pathfinder 2e for my group. And yes, Savage Pathfinder that I feel has been criminally underrated by the gaming community. So first with the bad though. Pathfinder adds classes. They're not required, but they're so strong as the class edges go that they seem to be almost an auto include when you're creating characters. Also, Savage Pathfinder ups the power level. With 4-point races and the aforementioned classes, the characters that are created using the Savage Pathfinder rules are going to be a little bit more powerful than your standard Savage Worlds characters. Lastly, the price feels a little bit high whenever you compare it to some of the other settings. You do have to keep in mind that the boxed set includes a separate book that is a bestiary and also the core rules, which most of the box sets do not. But whenever you look at the Fantasy Companion as basically a necessity add, then Pathfinder for Savage Worlds does get a little on the pricier end of the spectrum. Now for the good. With the toolkit that you have here, you can easily play a SWADE game in any D&D campaign setting. Pathfinder for Savage Worlds has all of the tropes, the beasts, the classes, and the races that are familiar to the genre. Also, the powers have been adjusted to handle some of the iconic spells more closely than they were in previous editions of Savage Worlds. Additionally, there are conversions of some of the fantastic adventure paths. Right now, Rise of the Rune Lords is available, and if it's not out yet, it soon will be the Curse of the Crimson Throne. This is where Paizo really shines. Their adventure path system creates a beautiful combination of an on-rails adventure boxed into a nice sandbox for the players to be able to explore freely before getting back to the main quest line. So being able to insert one of those excellent stories into a pre-made Savage Worlds edition really adds to the GM's ability to provide a great experience for their players. Finally, this pairs incredibly well with the new Fantasy Companion to build your complete fantasy genre toolkit. Because Pathfinder was designed to be the 3.75 that we never got, it has lots and lots of D&D DNA within it. When you take all of those tools that were built into the setting and into the rules of Pathfinder, and you combine them with the robust options available in the Fantasy Companion, you can pretty well create any sort of campaign setting that you can imagine from any of the 20th century TSR D&D worlds, and you'll be able to do so mostly on the fly because of the simplicity of the Savage Worlds system. All right, so those were my takes on the Savage settings of Savage Worlds, but I'd like to hear yours. Please share in the comments what you think of these different settings or the other Savage World settings that I didn't talk about. If you did enjoy the video, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Appreciate everybody watching. I appreciate all the engagement that I've had lately. And until next time, this has been Justin from Books, Bricks, and Boards. Good gaming, and God bless.